Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation of South Africa's YouTube channel. As I said before, October is a very busy month for awareness, and I think this is the last interview that we're going to have. It's Charcot Marie Tooth Awareness Month this month. If I can remember correctly, the difficult word is hereditary motor sensory neuropathy. And with us today to speak to us a little bit about the disease and her experiences is Fatima Wadia. Um, and I know a little bit about Charcot Marie Tooth because I was diagnosed with it in the 90s. Now, everyone knows I live with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy now, but for 8 years, I lived with CMT. So I kind of feel like I have a little bit of an understanding of what it's like, but I think Fatima is going to help us. Welcome, Fatima, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity. I think it is so important that muscular dystrophy, and especially Charcot Marie Tooth and the motor and sensory neuropathy is highlighted because I think for me, I think in South Africa there isn't much awareness on it, and I think the more we have these kind of programs and the more we have this kind of awareness, it will hopefully, inshallah, send the message across. So a little about myself. I was first diagnosed when I was like say in my late 20s. But CMT is a very and I'm sure people that have it will realize it's a very progressive disease. So there's just so many different kinds to it, and no two people are alike. So you could have five people with CMT in the room, and each one will display different characteristics, different types. And with that, yeah, a lot of people feel, oh no, it's not this, it must be that. So it's very hard to pinpoint. So coming back, so in my late 20s, I had an MRI done, and then we did an EEG test that, it kind of confirmed that I do have CMD. But for the next, I mean, I have normal, I'm married, I got two children, I get normal births, everything. So up until like I would say in my mid-30s, I didn't actually experience anything because it was going on with my life. The thing with my kind is that I think it hit more towards as I was reaching menopause. That's when my degree started progressing more. So up until then, I was living a very, very full life, doing a lot of things, driving, taking my kids back into school for their tuition and whatever. Towards the late 40s, when I fell and fractured my femur, that's when everything, kind of like, whoa, this is it. But the signs were there. Anyone with CMT will tell you they drop foot, they tend to trip easily, a little pebble on the floor, a little water on the floor, they can get them stumbling, and almost to such a point where you could break or fracture or damage a ligament, right? So those, but in terms of writing, in terms of I had it quite okay. I could write neatly. In fact, I had a very good handwriting. So it was very hard to really pinpoint that I had CMT. But it kind of, when I did the EEG rather, it gave me validation to say, okay, I'm not clumsy when I'm falling. I'm not, sometimes you're like just, you struggle to hold on to something. You're like, oh, it slipped from my hand, and you think, you just, but it's all part of the sensory thing, and your fingers tend to get numb very easily, and you're
Yeah.
not aware of it. So sometimes you're holding a spoon or a fork, a cup, and you just find your hand is shaped in that position. Takes you a while of massaging and whatever. Uh, but I mean, what I've also discovered is that because there isn't such a great awareness of CMT in our country, I've had to educate myself, and it was important for me to find a good doctor, to find a good somebody that understands where I'm coming from. So yeah, that for me was a challenge, finding someone in
to
that
help you.
field.
I wanted to ask you there, Fatima, with the diagnosis, was it you didn't do genetic testing? How did you pinpoint exactly what your diagnosis was? Was it only the EEG?
Yeah, no, it was only the EEG, and I kept with that simply because my brother had CMT that was
Yes.
diagnosed.
Oh,
He had the
yeah.
biopsy test, so I figured, well, what, if he's got it, it is hereditary. I'm not going to go down that whole thing. At the time, I thought, no ops at that. And fortunately, up until then, I had no ops, no major things. Um, yeah, and then in that year when we discovered that we did a strengthening of the ligament, where they strengthen your ankle with that. But yeah, that didn't seem to really stop the falling. I think also because I was living such a very full life, you tend to do things very fast. And the thing with drop foot, you the message doesn't go very fast to say, you got to move fast. So that's how you tend to trip more
Yeah.
because you really got to take things at a slow pace, and it's okay to walk slower than other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
But
was
in terms,
that was a challenge. My mother's like used to just run everywhere. So
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, the thing is, I was just thinking the South Africans are very social. We've got a social culture. And, I know I've got a few Indian friends as well, so it's definitely in the Indian community, it's the same thing. Very busy people and love to cook and love to be social. How did that? I mean, obviously you had to slow down at some point. That must have been extremely difficult for you. And how did you cope with that?
I think more than anything else, the lack of driving
Hmm.
hit me the hardest. Up until that time, I could drive both automatic and manual, and I could park also very well. So yeah, not being able to get in and out of the car. FEMA really it's on another level. Just takes so much of you. There's just so much of adjustments and yeah. So the fact that I missed the loss of driving more than anything else. When it comes to cooking, I found ways to adapt around it. I still make my own samosas. I still make my own rotis. So yeah, that hasn't really stopped. You
You
can't
you
take a
find you
culture.
find a way somehow to do it. You
Yeah,
find a yeah. I realize that as well. I find a way, and I also had the drop foot gait, even though I think CMT is a little bit different from muscular dystrophy, where CMT it's the nerves itself that stops
correct.
the message to the muscles, whereas with limb girdle it's the muscles itself, but the effect is the same. I mean,
Yes.
I was a young man of 21 when I fell constantly. And then people think you are drunk or whatever. you know, but so I understand that. And also the stairs, stairs become a huge problem for me. Are you now at the moment, do you use any kind of help, like wheelchairs and crutches or things like that can assist you
So
during this? Yeah?
in at home, I sit and work a lot. I have a nice kitchen table and chair that I work and do most of my things there. I have a very, very good support system. I have a good helper that comes in. I can't actually call her a domestic helper because she does so much more than that. She helps me, sometimes with my feet, sometimes just getting dressed. So she's really so much more than that. She's more like my caregiver, my confidant. She's really a very, very, very phenomenal person. And then my family, my husband, my children, and then it extends to my brother and and his family. So I have a very, very good support system, and alhamdulillah, I'm very grateful for that. So in terms of if that, it was more my mental that I had to, that these are my limitations and where to from here, and that was what I had to keep affirming to myself that it's not the end of the world. It's just the end of this day. So, tomorrow we'll find another way to deal with it. And I think it's that positivity that actually helped. And obviously my spirituality as well, that, you pray and you ask the Almighty for guidance and you ask him for strength, and he does give you that. He's never let us down. So that has helped me a lot tremendously, actually.
Yeah, that's amazing. And we were just talking just before we started recording. We were talking about strength because I had a slow morning, a slow start this morning. And that's just par for the course. That's what we have to deal with.
True,
And you had
true.
a very interesting analogy as well about spoons. Can you tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that? Because I love that.
Okay, so every day, every day, everybody has a certain amount of spoons. A normal, and I don't like to use normal and abnormal, but in this case, I'm going to go with it, right? A normal person has over 20, almost 30 spoons. That is what they wake up with every day. A person with chronic fatigue only wakes up with less than 20, even sometimes 10. And based on how you wake up that morning, sometimes you wake up with your full 20 quota, whatever, and then sometimes you can only wake up with maybe 5. The days that you wake up with 5, you still got to pull your full 24 hours, or say 18 hours if that's you're up for that many hours. And in that time, you've got to bath, you've got to feed yourself, you've got to get things done in the house. And mind you, getting in and out of the bathroom is a challenge, and it takes a lot of your energy. Even sometimes just making your own cup of tea is a challenge. So the whole spoon theory is, if you acknowledge that, okay, today I woke up with a little spoon, then you do the basic bare minimum. The day you've got a little bit more energy, you've got more spoons to work with, that is the day then you take out the extra work, like in my case, the samosa making and all that will come out on those days that I have more spoons. And then also, when you're going out somewhere, you're using up more spoons. So if you're socializing and you're visiting family, you've used up a lot of your spoons, and because you're hyper alert, the next day you have a slump. So the next day you're not going to be productive. You're going to be, yeah, it's almost like you've gave all your spoons away yesterday and now you got nothing. So you also got to account for that. So if you're having a social thing, like say you're busy Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't know, we don't do that. It's probably just one day in the week, the weekend. But you're going to be tired for maybe something even 2 days after that. A shopping trip for me, and yet you were asking about how I walk around. Um, at home, I can walk in, I hold walls and walk. But when we go out, my family got me a wheelchair, so they push me around in the wheelchair. But mind you, you get tired with that as well. I think the biggest fear is you don't want to bump someone and get hurt in the process. And also, it is disconcerting because people around us are not so familiar with people in wheelchairs. They don't know how to be around you. They tend to walk in front of you. They tend to bump your wheelchair. Like especially like in supermarket aisles, or like, and I think, like, I'm besides myself, and it's like, can you not see this? Can you not see me? And can you not see this big wheelchair? Like, how do you? Hi, but you know what? I think people are so caught up in that, it's almost like the robots. They don't see
Uh,
what is in front of them.
in the day to
So
day, they
that is,
caught up. Yeah.
yeah,
No, and,
yeah.
and the thing is, I was just with the analogy of the spoons, the costs, with all of these things that you have to get wheelchairs and assistance. Not all of us were born with a silver spoon in our mouth. So you have to. It's very difficult, and the costs as you progress with the disease, the costs go up.
Yes.
I've just been with you with speaking about the femur. I've just realized that I have osteoporosis in my feet. So now I have to go on pills, and I have to start watching it at my age now. I'm 46, so it's not common for someone of my age to have osteoporosis, but that's because I've been in a wheelchair for 20 years. So now it becomes something that I have to watch as well going forward. And it's another costs, and it's medical costs and checkups and all those things. And as you said, now you have to be careful because someone bumps against you, or someone bumps you and you fall out of your wheelchair and you break your femur. It's a massive thing.
It
So
is.
and it's amazing for me. that all these different diseases are actually have the same sort of things that you have to watch out for. It's when I listen to you speak about difficulty walking and all of those things, I've went through all of those things. It's just a different, you just call it a different name, and the origin is different.
Yeah. I think also, when I got diagnosed, and I mentioned to you, I managed to get my degree in counseling as well, and I work
Yes.
from home. But apart from that, it just gave me this greater need to want to know more. I think the human mind, this counseling is my forte. The just loving to know what makes us tick, and it helped in finding, the different differences in the CMD itself. And I think for me, it was a greater awareness, or a good empowering tool for me to just get all this information. And fortunately, with the internet, and if once you can, sift out what is important and what is not, because the internet can have you believing you got cancer, right? And 1 minute, like you're dead already. So you got to be discerning in what you read and what you feed yourself with. And similarly, talking about feeding, it's what you feed yourself.
Yeah.
In, you know, in terms of not just your mental but your soul as well, and then also just what you're eating. So I've had to make lifestyle changes. And also, yes, I do have a lot like supplements. I take a good vitamin. I take a calcium magnesium supplement as well. Because you must know with the neuropathy is that you suffer from restless legs. You
Oh,
tend to suffer from a lot of pins and needles, both in your fingers and your feet. And then you also get this nerve pain that just springs up suddenly, and it can happen anywhere. And I'm sure you probably experience that. And taking these supplements does help. It doesn't eliminate it completely, but it does lessen the severity. So if you've got a good calcium magnesium supplement, I would say that. But even just taking a very good um, vitamin helps. And
yeah.
with us, we're always conscious about the halal haram thing. So I've had to find something that doesn't have gelatin, that doesn't have animal granite in it. So finding one was difficult, but not impossible. Like I said, you do your research, you find it. The Vital Force has an extreme, I'm not advertising for anybody else, but it just has a very good, it's just everything. It has everything in it. Your vitamin A, B, C, like right down to your little, so that helped.
A good
Because, you also
good
don't want to be,
yeah, good multivitamin. Yes.
yes, you also don't want to be, taking a lot of pills. you
No.
know um
Yeah.
so you want to limit. So if something has a lot in it, it obviously lessens the amount that you're putting into your mouth.
Yeah. Do you do any exercise, or is it functional exercise? What kind of exercise do you do?
So there's something called on the internet called Life Balanced. She does something on where you do exercises on your bed or sitting down on your chair. So that has helped me. I am a bit lazy. My kids will say very lazy, but we'll sit with I'm a bit lazy. And yeah, so I do too. Not maybe not as frequently as I should, but again, you get so tired.
Yeah.
So it all depends on my strength. So it's very well, you got to exercise and you've got to do this and try and do this, but you do. Sometimes you just wake up tired.
Yep.
Sometimes you go to bed tired, and in between you want to try and put in these things. It's very difficult.
Yeah. It's almost like
But
when you get that opportunity and you get that energy, you must do something. And when you don't, you must take it easy and relax. It's a balance. Yeah.
yes, and I think that's also where knowing your body counts. When your body gives you cues, it will start off with a slight ache. It'll even go to like so much to a headache. And those are your cues where you need to rest. Your
Mm.
body tells you you're doing too much. The body tells you you need to rest it out. Sometimes your brain just needs to shut down
Yeah.
because it's working so much. You must know with the neuropathy and even muscular dystrophy, right? It's your muscles working overtime. Your brain has to do the work that your organs normally is supposed to, but because you don't have, the nerves are getting finished, the muscles around it, your body, your brain has to send more messages to say, look, you got to start pumping. This needs to start working. So you're going to feel more tired than other people. And that's where you need to just rest. So sometimes you rest. Sometimes I rest the whole day because that's just what I need.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that is your body's telling you, you need it.
Take it slowly. Yes. I just want to get back to when you've given us a lot of pearls about how, you've mentioned religion, you've mentioned the your support structure. Um, do you think that you being a counselor and helping other people also adds that additional aspect of you dealing with this in a better way?
I would think so. Yes, I would think so. Yes.
Yeah,
I
because I
can't
mean,
speak for others.
I found that doing volunteer work myself, as well as it's really you learn so much, you feel better when you help other people. It's just I don't know why. That's just a natural human thing, right?
Also, I think the patience, when you're in the counseling setup and when you get right, you're working at your client space. And when you ask your family for something, right, and they tell you, I'll bring it for you just now. I've had to like literally look at the clock and say, okay, it's not even a minute. Because when you're waiting, time seems like, oh my God, they're taking so long. Sometimes it's not even 20 seconds. So patience is very important. Yourself, you need to be patient with the people around you. And I think having that skill somewhat help. And look, I have my bad days, we all human.
Oh, do.
But overall, I think, yeah, I've become to understand. I think it's also important to have good communication. When something's not working out, your kids must be free to tell you, that this is not right. And you also need to say, you know what, are you forcing me to do this? But I don't want to do that. So it's important that you have that healthy, communication thing where you can get, um, an easy way of relating to each other. And I think it's important. I think that's also what helps in the good support structure is that
Mhm.
there's no ego involved. And sometimes they tell you things, you might not like it, but when you think about it, you see there's wisdom in it. And sometimes you can say, hang on, I get where you're coming from, but this doesn't suit me. So it's knowing yourself, and your ski, you knowing who your strength and weaknesses are. Yeah.
Yeah, then I
Sorry, I'm
also
not the stumbling with words.
no, that is good. I mean, I'm also thinking about treatments, and you've mentioned all the vitamins and the things that we can take. And I mean, exercise itself is a treatment, but with CMT, is there anything on the horizon that you know about that they are looking at for treatments to slow the progress or to stop it? Do you know of anything?
No, I don't. I don't think there's any cure per se. For muscular dystrophy or even um, the neuropathy. But there are people out there that can help you. I don't know if you heard of stretch therapy.
Well,
There's
I mean,
this
I do physiotherapy, so a lot of the things that I do twice a week is stretching. So yeah, I do stretch therapy. Yeah.
this South Africa has, I know of two people, somebody based in Sandton and someone based in Greenside. They specialize in stretch therapy. That is what they do.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, they don't do house calls. I prefer people to come home. It takes away that hassle of getting in and out of the car because you get tired just getting in and out of the car. So, but what they do is, and if you have a time, check it out.
Hmm.
That is where they basically stretch your entire body. It's a just under an hour session, and they work every muscle of yours, everything that needs stretching, they will stretch it for you. And you do feel tired the day after, but continue it when you do this continuously, it does help. And I would like recommend people to go into that. Because sometimes, you go to a biocognitist. If the person doesn't understand your disease, they can actually hurt you. I went once to someone and I told the person, I cannot walk on a treadmill. Oh, no, 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 just tired. And I fell flat on my face. It was lucky I didn't sue them. Here in South Africa, we don't sue anybody. But that's how I was bruised. And the thing is, so look, this was a long time ago. I'm hoping that they've also learned more about, muscular dystrophy and limitations, because even a person with arthritis cannot do certain things, right? So it's not only limited to muscular dystrophy or atrophies in that case. Anybody that has a chronic disease would be unable to do things easily. So again, I think it's finding the health caregiver, the health practitioner that understands you and doesn't come with their own ego to say, oh, no, you have to do. I know, just try it. No, my dear, you don't know my body. So I think it's important that you also stand up for yourself, and that's something I had to learn in my years.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think can be done a little bit better by the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation? Where do we need improvement for neuromuscular dystrophy patients?
I think maybe create more of an aware, not an awareness because that is there. I think maybe put it out there for support systems. I think that is something we lack here in South Africa. I know in the States, in the other place, there's a group called CMT Stand By Me. And they, so, certain things. You wake up in the morning and you want to know why. You can always just ask them because these are people that have, like I told you, it's there's so many subtypes to the types that it helps. When you put it out there and it says, "Oh no, I went through this," and someone says, "Oh yeah, but you know what, you can do this." So it helps when the people are your support system, or rather in this case, a support group, is people that are also experiencing what you're experiencing, but maybe to a higher or lesser degree. Because pain is relative, diseases are relative, right? It's all for the individual. So I think I think just maybe creating something like that would be a great help. And
Yeah,
now with technology, we don't actually have to get out of our houses to to have these groups. You can just have a WhatsApp thing, have a Zoom meeting like this, and people can air out the grievances. And
yeah,
also sometimes it would help. I think also the support group would help, like which doctor is good for you. Oh, this person's got a good bedside manner. He deals specifically with CMT patients, or that it helps because you want to go to someone also that is caring, and also that knows your disease, so they can give you a proper diagnosis.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
very wise because we've started a group for limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, and there's so much of information sharing that at some point people said, look, they never knew any of the stuff, and even the doctors couldn't help with some of the things that are, more like the practical things and who to choose as a doctor. You are spot on. So it might be a good thing to start a CMT WhatsApp group here in South Africa. We even had persons from other African countries then joining it, and they may not even have had that. I don't even think they had specifically that disease, but they attended some of um, the YouTube or the webinars, webinars that we um, that we started, and we sent it out into the social media, and they were extremely grateful. And I think we should do more of that, definitely. No,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
great
It's
idea.
just knowing, like when you, sorry, I think it's knowing when you go on it and someone tells you, no, no, it's okay. It's
Yeah,
normal for us. It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
you say, all right, okay, nothing to be overly concerned about. Because you also don't want to go to the doctor for every little ooh and
no,
ah that you have, right? And also,
yeah,
where's the time?
yeah,
So if you can, discuss it here and someone tells you, okay, no, this is something you need to check out. And sometimes someone will say, oh, no, no, that looks okay. Especially when you're falling, and like, okay, because, we don't feel pain. But sometimes your leg looks weird, or like, okay, so you can say, I have this, and they'll tell you, okay, well, this is what you need to check. Feel here, feel there. All right, my dear, you need to go. go for your x-rays and and have it checked out. And otherwise, no, it looks like, give it a day or two, you might come okay. So that helps you in making informed choices again.
Yeah, but
Comes back to
uh,
informed choices.
thank you so much. You've given us a fascinating perspective, from your side on CMT, and lots of pearls of wisdom again. Is there one piece of advice you can leave to the members in general about living with these kinds of diseases?
What you have to understand with a progressive disease is that it has no timeline and it doesn't have a definite time frame. So don't think that, by this next month, this time, this is what I'm going to achieve, or even this is how I'm going to deteriorate. Just take every day, one day at a time. No expectations, no disappointments. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Fatima. Enjoy the rest of your day. Really.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much again for this opportunity. I look forward to seeing this recording of this. And you take care. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.